everyone, this is Rachel, and I'm here for the Crafty Maven's Getaway Mix It Up Monday for November 2nd. And here is Xanthi, and she's saying hello. Today I'm going to be working on a Christmas gift as we are approaching that season. I'm working on a note card set for my grandmother. She is someone who appreciates handmade gifts. I say note card. In actuality, it's going to be a couple of everyday cards and then a couple of birthday cards and a couple of thank you cards. She's someone who actually sends cards out, so I wanted to give her a whole different set of things. So we're going to be working very basically. I won't be showing you the whole thing. I will be showing you how to make the gift box to put the cards in. And just to understand, this is not my design. I have several people who do Stampin' Up, and this is something I got from one of them. I honestly cannot remember whom. But we're going to make a gift card, and I will show you 2 of the cards, but all 8 of the cards are going to be on the same design. I mean, they might be slightly different, but they're all going to be based off the same design. So I'm going to put you guys on fast forward and see you in a second.
Okay, so here I have a piece of Echo Park from Sunshine Sprinkles, I think that's what it's called, and it's triangles, and I'm going to just cut this down to 11 1/4 by 8, and that's the size you need for the gift box. And then I'm going to pull out my scoring board, and I'm going to score this paper first on the long side, and I'm going to put the scoring positions in the description box, and I'm just counting it out because I couldn't remember the first one. But that first one is, I'm going to pop it up on the screen so I can read along because I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, so the scoring is at 2 3/8, then 3 1/8, 7 3/4 by 8 1/2, and then you turn it over on the shorter side and do 3/4 and 8 1/2. Now I'm just going to use my bone folder to fold all of those on a tight, and then I do the other side as well. And I use this not just for note card gift sets, I also use it for if I'm giving like a piece of paper as a gift, like if I've purchased something it hasn't arrived yet or anything like that. Now you cut all the little ends on the outsides, and I angle them in just so it's easier to fold and nothing tends to stick up over, and that's just something I do. You don't have to do that. And then I put a little bit of my Scotch quick dry adhesive. Sorry about that, my narration stopped. So I was just saying that I put a bit of my Scotch quick dry adhesive on each of the 4 little tabs and then fold them up. Now I'm making the belly band that will keep my box shut, and I just I cut a 3-inch piece of an 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock and then trim that in half so the belly band is 1 1/2 inches. And then I glue it together at one end and fold it where I glued it, so that ends up on one of the corners since it's already stronger, and it also kind of hides where it's joined. Now I trim that off. I'm going to trim it off further, and I'll show you that in my ending video, but I don't show you where I cut it on screen. Now I'm just going to show you how I take an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of paper, and I just score it down the middle at 5 1/2 lengthwise, and then I trim it at 4 1/4 vertically, and then that makes 2 top folding cards. Now I like these because it sits nicely when you prop it up on a table or on a mantle. It sits nicely. Now I'm using 2 different 6x6 paper pads I have 4 craft cardstock and 4 white. Now for the white ones, I'm using this Bo Bunny 6x6 pad that I believe is called either Enchanted Butterfly or Enchanted Garden or something along those lines. It is an older 6x6 paper pad. So all I'm doing is cutting half and half the polka dot paper on the bottom and the butterfly paper on the top. And then all I'm going to do is grab I have some in color cardstock from Stampin' Up, and this is the 2013 to 2015 variety pack. And all I'm going to do is put that on the middle, but on the lower side of middle, using some soft Cantaloupe Hero Arts shadow ink, and I'm going to stamp this Stampin' Up! Thank You, and I'm just making sure I like that color. And I wanted to make sure, I don't stamp very often, so I just wanted to make sure it would stamp well, and it does, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on this. Now this turns out very well. I was actually quite pleased. I'm not a huge stamper, so I was happy that it worked out quite well. So I decided to go ahead and stamp these little hearts, and that did not turn out so well. So I'm like, I'll try another one. Nope, that one did not turn out so well either. So what I'm going to do is add those little bee butterflies over where I stamped the hearts. But the first thing I'm going to do is stamp. I'm going to use my border punch and of the Stampin' Up! Scallops, and I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom of that little piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to go ahead and get all of my stuff glued down. So I do the top and the bottom of the card, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the part with my stamped sentiment. And then I'm just going to take 2 of those butterflies and put them right over where the hearts go. And that's it. That's all I do for my card. As I said, these are very, very simple. Now for my craft cardstock, I'm using this All Dialed Up by My Mind's Eye. Now I had these triangle pieces left over from a layout I had done, and when I laid it down like that, I actually really liked the way it looked. So I just glued it down so the corners would end where the corners of the card ended, and then I just trimmed off all the different parts that overhung from it being a rectangle. So I'm just going to trim that off using my scissors. And this is the basis of my card, and the only thing I do is I add a sentiment on a banner that I cut. Now, my housemate had come home. I'm making this very early on a Sunday morning. I had another project actually, and the files ended up getting corrupted, so I had to do this one pretty quickly. Now, I'm just going to stamp this on your birthday, and that's going to be my card. So and this gray paper is not from the In Color, it just happened to be a piece of gray paper that I happen to have. And the On Your Birthday comes from, someone hit my tripod. The On the Birthday comes from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to stamp that in some Ranger dye ink. And after I turn the camera off, I do add a sprinkle of Heidi Swapp Color Shine. You'll see that in the ending video and photograph. But as to that, once again, just a very, very simple card using a 6x6 paper pad and one stamp. And here we go back to being live.
Finished making all of my cards, and I also completed the belly band for my gift box. Now, not thinking about it, I wasn't thinking about the design of my belly band, so I think I'm going to go back and make it, and when I do it, I'll do the stamping vertically, so that way, because I forgot I used the pennant paper, so that way it will be vertical. So you see my box just opens up like this, and my cards will go inside, and I forgot to bend that back so I could. Okay, and then the belly band, I showed you in the thing, and then I just glued it and trimmed off the end on the back. Oh, sorry, I glued it and trimmed it off on the end of the back on this side. That was the corner I had already done. Okay, so you saw me make these 2 cards. A gender-neutral birthday card, and then a thank you card, definitely more feminine one. And then You're Simply the Best. And this uses the Avery L. Handwritten Notes stamp line. And then just a plain note card. A thank you card. Best and Warmest Wishes. Now this is one of the 6x6 paper pad pieces that I tend to have problem using for scrapbooking because it's got such a large element. So I find using these for cards, and you'll see I did in this one too. And then another one. And then I just stamped So Glad We're Here for Each Other. And that is from this Blooming Marvelous Stampin' Up kit. And then I added another one of those butterflies. Now I will add not matching, but the same size envelopes for all of these underneath all of the cards and then close it up and get the belly band on. And actually, I usually find it's easier to go from this direction. And there we go. A very nice Christmas gift for someone who will appreciate some handmade items. Okay, so that is it for me for today's Mix It Up Monday here at the Crafty Maven's Getaway. I will put all the information to make the box in my description box, and I hope everyone has a fabulous week. Bye!